Hello everyone and welcome to my YouTube channel. We'll be diving deep into the renowned book Introduction to Algorithms. We'll break down complex algorithms, solve challenging problems, and most importantly, we'll implement these algorithms in not just one, but three different programming languages, C++, MATLAB, and Python. This multi-language approach is for two purposes. First, it ensures that you truly understand the algorithms, as each language brings its unique perspective to the table. And second, it's a fantastic opportunity to master programming languages you are not be familiar with. So if you are ready to dive into the world of algorithms, gain a profound understanding of this fundamental topic, and enhance your programming skills along the way, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and join us on this incredible journey. Thank you for tuning in, and let's get started. The first algorithm is discussed in the book, and it's a very good way to understand how algorithm work is insertion sort. This algorithm is for sorting increasingly the elements of an array, and it's a very efficient algorithm for sorting a small number of elements. It's not efficient for when the array has large number of elements. Also, the good thing is that algorithm sorts the input numbers in place. I'll try to explain the keywords in the book. In place means that we don't need a memory more than the array itself. We don't need to copy the elements of array A into another array like B. For example, if array has 500 elements, so we don't need to have another array, call it B, to copy each element one by one when we are sorting them. Let's go directly to the algorithm. Let's call it the function insertion sort. The inputs are A, the array itself. In this example, this array has length 6. N is the length of the array, which is 6 in this example, and we want to sort it increasingly. The output of the algorithm is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, which is sorted increasingly. We have a for loop in the first line for I equal to 2 to n, which is 6 in here. From the second element of the array, we will have a for loop until the end of the array. It means that we will go once element by element into the array elements. This is double forward slash is an explanation. It says that insert AI into the sorted subarray. It says that if you know the induction in mathematics, in here, let's assume that you have sorted the array elements from 1 to I minus 1 already sorted. So now you want to sort one element more, and assume that j is I minus 1. So in here, I is equal to 2 and j is equal to 1. We have a while loop. It says that while j is more than the 0 and aj is more than the key. First we have j is equal 1, so it's more than 0, and aj, which is 5, is also more than the key. It means that the key, which is now 2, is less than the aj, so it means that we need to switch it with the place of the j's element. aj plus 1, which is the place of the key in this first step, we make it equal to the aj, which is 5. It means that we bring 5 from the first position to the second one, and also we reduce the j1. J was 1, we reduce it by 1, so it will become 0. The while loop is not satisfied, we go out of the while loop. Now this is in the out of the while loop. J, now it became 0, so aj plus 1, which is 5, equal to the key. We switch them. Now 2 is in here and 5 is in here. As you understand, it says that we make it j, we bring j down by this, j equal to j minus 1, until it is positive, or we find the place of the key. It means that aj is no longer greater than the key. Let's see in the second round. So for I equal to 3, key element is AI, which is 4. Now this one, let us think like that this third position now is empty. Think like that. We copied this 4 into the key. So assume that this one is empty. Now we switch these ones one by one until 4, the key, is more than the elements in here. 5 will be switched to the 4, but 2 cannot be switched because 2 is less than 4. In here, we copy 6 into the key, so this one will be empty. We want to switch it, but 5, aj, is not greater than key, is less than key, so we don't need to switch it. Now in here, 1, let's copy this into the key. So this one will be empty. 6 will be switched to this position because it's more than the key, and j will be reduced by 1. So we will go to 5. 5 is bigger than 1, so it will be switched in here. 4 also, 2 also will be switched, and here will become empty. So we place the key in here. aj plus 1 equal to the key. Now for 3, let's copy this to the key, and let's assume that this is empty. 6 is bigger than 3, aj is bigger than key, so it will push it here. 4 will be pushed in here, the fourth position, and also in the third position, element 4 is more than the key, we will switch it. 2 is not more than 3, so the while loop is not satisfied. Both of these should be satisfied. There is AND in between. Now here will be empty. These 3 elements will be pushed in here. This one will be empty, so we place 3 in it, which we can see in here. Now let's start implementing this algorithm in MATLAB. I will explain why I'm starting with MATLAB, then I will go to Python, and after that I will implement in C++. Let's go into the MATLAB. I opened my MATLAB and created a folder algorithm in my desktop and chapter 2 inside of it. Let's first explain for those who hasn't worked with MATLAB. Let's assume that we have an array. The elements are 2, 4, and 6, for example. We can see in here, in the workspace, it shows array A, and the values are 2, 4, 6. Let's call the second element A2. First, second element is 4. The first element is 2, and the last element is 6. In the other programming languages, we will see that indexing will start from 0. But in the book, we can see that in the algorithm, the indexing is starting from 1. So implementing them in MATLAB will be much easier compared to other programming languages like Python or C++. To implement the function, let's open a new script. And let's create a function. It's better to print this page or just make it side by side as I'm doing. So first we create a function. In MATLAB, we write function like this, and the function name is like, let me make it like the book, insertion underscore sort. It cannot be like this. It gives an error. It should be underscore. And the input are array A and also n, which is the number of elements. And we write end. These are showing that array A is not used and also n is not used. Yes, because we didn't start. If it's an error, it will show in red. We will have a for loop. The for loop, we do it by variable I equal to 2 up to n. N is the input, and this 2 column, it shows that go one by one until n. For example, let's make n equal to 6 as in our example. When we write 2 up to the n, it will do 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. This is our for loop. So also we'll have an end for the for loop. We write key element, key variable equal to the a, I. To call the I element of a, we need brackets. And if you want to explain something, we can easily write, for explaining, we need this sign. Insert ai into the sorted subarray a, 1 up to I minus 1. Also j equal to the I minus 1. We will have a while loop while j is more than 0. How we can have and a j also more than the key element and the end of the while loop. A j plus 1 equal to the a j, increase j by 1 element. And after the while loop, the way that it's showing is like Python. We don't have end after while or for. It is not showing in the algorithm. Note that in here, in the algorithm, it doesn't write end, but based on the indentation, we can understand that the inside of the while will finish in here, and inside of the for loop will finish in here. So this one is outside. A j plus 1 equal to the key. Now we need to save it. When we save it, we can see that the name should be the name of the function that we are seeing. So this is the function. A equal to the 5. You can put comma in here or just space 2, 4, 6, 1, and 3. How many elements we have? 6. Now in here, to give an output for the function, we need to define an output. We name it also A itself, the A after the sorting. So now we need just to use it in our program like this, and it will give a sorting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. We can use another arrays, for example, 4, 7, 1, 0, minus 10, and 101. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 again. So it is sorted again. So it's correct, it's working. Also for debugging in the MATLAB, we just need to, for example, put a breakpoint in here. And let's use this A again. Let's use the A that we have in the book. And call the function again. In here, you can see that I is equal to 2. We go one step. Now the key element is equal to 2. We just need to hover on top of the key. Now we need to read this. I was 2, so j equal to 1. And in the while loop, j was more than 0, and aj was more than the key. J is 1, so the first element 5 is more than the key. So it will go inside. Now, as you can see, it copied in this place that already was key. So as I said, we will assume that here it was empty. So we just switch 5 to the right and we decrease j. Now j will become 0. So the while condition is not satisfied, so it will go out of the while loop. Now a j plus 1, which is 1, will become key element. So 2, 5, 4, 6, 1, 3, as the first iteration of the for loop is passed. For going to the second iteration, we will see that the key now is 4 and j is equal to 2, the second element. So j was more than 0 and aj was more than key. So we just need to make aj, switch it, copy it to the right hand side and also decrease j. And now in here, aj was not satisfied. A1 was 2 and key was 4. So 2 wasn't more than key, so it came out of the for loop. Now the 4 is copied in the second place. And we can see iteration by iteration that our algorithm is working. In here, I can say that maybe we don't need to give n into the algorithm. We just, if you want, you can delete it. And in the first line, you can write n equal to the length of the array A. If we stop the algorithm and do it again, and we have starting in here, we call the function again. Sorry, called n in here. We don't have n in here. So when calling it, we just need to erase it. Now n equal to the 6. So this is the way that we find the length of an array in MATLAB. I will explain also the same thing in Python and C++. Let's go to the Python. For Python also in Visual Studio, I opened a folder and called it Insertion Sort. I will do the algorithm in this page. For writing a function in Python, in the MATLAB is what function, you just need to write def and the same name, insertion sort. The inputs are array A and also n. Let's go to the second line. For now we want I goes from 2 to n. How we can do in Python? We can write just I in range of 1 up to n. two dots. Inside of the after the function and after for loop and while loop, we just need to write two dots. Inside the for loop, key element is equal to A. Here is a square bracket. In MATLAB, it wasn't a square. And also J equal to I minus 1. Inside the for loop, we have while loop. While note that in Python, indexing is from 0. So when we say that J in here is more than 0, in Python it's like saying that it's more than minus 1. So we can write J is more than minus 1. And also simply we write AND in here. And a J more than key. Inside of the for loop, we have a J plus 1 equal to the J, and J also equal to J minus 1, and this one is out of the while loop, so we go back, but it's inside of the for loop. A J plus 1 equal to the key. This is the function that we have. For explaining something, we can write like this. This is an example for us. Or in here, when we want to describe something, we should just do like this. And array A, let's use the same array in the book, 5, 2, 6, 1, and 3. And we just need to copy and call the function. And to see it, we just need to print it. Control F5. It says that n is not defined. Okay, we didn't define it. And also n equal to the 6. Again, when we call it, we can see that it is sorted. Let's try with another A. For example, 12, 11.2, 13, 5, and 6. 2, 3, 4, 5 element. And control F5. And we can see that it's working. For this, we may just delete this. We don't give input. And in the function, inside of the function, we just write n equal to the len. In MATLAB, it was length, len of A. Now, again, control F5, and we can see that algorithm is working. Let's go to implement it in C++. To implement in C++, again in Visual Studio, I opened a folder and the project name is Insertion Sort C++. And we don't need these things. We will need include input output stream, and we will also need this. So let's begin the implementation. To begin the implementation, we need to have this function. Let's say that the output is void, and we call it insertion sort, and we have an array. Let's assume first that all the elements of array A is integers, and also we have the integer number n, which is the length of the array. Let's define a variable integer type key, which is equal to the AI. The difference between C++ and MATLAB is just we need to describe what is each variable that we are using. In here, this is just integer. The key also is an integer random variable. Like MATLAB, we need to finish the line, and also the array, also A, two brackets, is integer type. I forgot the key is inside the for loop, so we need to write the for loop. we have I, which starts from 1. We need to define its type, which is an integer, and also this goes like in Python. This is from the indexing is from 0. So I equal to up to n. In here is up to n minus 1, or when it is just less than n. And also we increment I 1 by 1. It means that I first is 1. 1 is the second element. 0, index 0 is the first element. I equal 1 is the second element. So I equal 2 in this book. In the C++ indexing starts from 0, so I equal to 1, and it goes up to n in the book. So it goes up to less than n, up to n minus 1, and the increment is 1 by 1. I plus plus, when I is 1, in the next iteration, it is increasing. So in the next iteration, I will be 2. So we have a for loop. Let me just copy this line that I wrote. And also we have integer j, which is I minus 1. For the while loop, j, now we need to say that j is more than minus 1, or we can just write j greater than or equal to the 0, and is like in MATLAB, a j more than the value of the key. We need to have curly bracket. So inside the while loop or inside the curly bracket, inside the function, we have the curly bracket. Inside the for loop, we know that this is the end of the for loop. In here, we just write as in the book, j plus 1 equal to the aj. We finish the line, and also j equal to the j minus 1. Out of the while loop, aj plus 1 equal to the key. We just copy the value of the key. Now we go in to call this function. We will go inside of the main function, and let's assume that we have an array. If we know the size of it, we can write in here. If we don't know, we will just write the elements. For example, the same as the book, 5, 2, 4, 6, 1, and 3. Finish the line, and n, just it's an integer, so we write it just equal to 6. Finish the line, and now we just need to call the function. Finish the line of the calling function. We already defined n. We don't need to write int in here. Also, we know that it's already an array. Now, the problem is to print the values of the sorted after the function. So we need to define we need to create a for loop int I from the first element, which is in the 0th position, until the last position, which is less than n. The array's element start from 0 up to 5. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we increment I 1 by 1. To print it, we need the cout. Let's just copy this. Cout, what we need to print is AI. And also let's give a space after each element is printing. Let's run by Control F5. As you can see, the elements are sorted. Let's, in this program, write the second element 2.3, for example, and Control F5. It assumes that it's an integer number because we assume that it is int. Make the array a double. Also, in here, we need to change inside the function also. But each time, it's difficult to change it each time. So to make the function to work for each type of the array, we need just to define template class T, and in here, instead of int, we need to just write equal to T. And also in here, if we define it instead of T, if we define it equal to double, we need to also change this to double. So if it's T, we need to just write it T in here. And I think we don't need to change any other thing. Let's run by Control F5. And as you can see, the array is sorted. For debugging, we need just to put a breakpoint in here and see how it will work. In one of the problems in the book, it says that in this algorithm, the sorting is increasing. What can you do to make the sort decreasing? So it will be very easy for you. Figure it out in all three programming languages. Also, I will solve it, and also I will solve the other problems. Please subscribe to my channel so it will motivate me a lot to continue this work.